Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, F8 Well Centers. We're going to talk today about the difference between two conditions that are rampant right now in our children. The research shows with autism, we're getting down to 1 in 15, 1 in 20 males in the United States that are being born now have autism. Asperger's is something different in entirety. And this is something that we're going to go over today, how you can tell the difference between these, and that actually treatments are going to be different, and you've got to look into the why that somebody's brain is being affected like this. The statistics are mind-boggling. Over the last 20, 30 years, we have seen a considerable from 1 in 120 down to 1 in 60, down to 1 in 30, and in the next 10 to 15 years, we're going to be down to 1 in every 10 children is going to be born with autism. I mean, that's just a staggering statistic. And if you think about it, what it costs per year to support one of these children, to give them that much more attention at school, and to have one-on-one support and therapy and all of these different things, and that usually one of the parents can't work. Lots and lots of issues that come about from that, not just for that child and that family, but just on the society effect of that. And that person's not going to be able to go and work in the regular field for their job and all types of different things. But you can tell the difference. You can see whether it's autism or whether it's Asperger's. And this is something that is really important, because going about it the wrong way is not going to necessarily help this child live their fullest life that they possibly can. So thanks for jumping on. Pop down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see you all over the country, all over the world. And we're going to get into this. Let me know if you've got any personal experience, if you or a loved one have dealt with this. You know, it's in the news a whole lot more. We've got Elon Musk. He has Asperger's, and he is he talks about it, and usually the people on the Asperger's side, they're going to be more like Elon Musk. They're going to be more their brains can just function at this other level, but they have a lot harder time associating in the real world, kind of like the old movie Rain Man, if you remember that one. Hey Nicole, good to see you. Hope life is well there. Where are you watching from, Nicole? So we've got two different types of brainwave patterns, and what I've seen over the years is, and the research isn't really out there. They haven't done a lot with brain maps and all those things, but I've seen enough patients, I've seen enough people with autism, enough people with Asperger's, that we can tell just by looking at a brain map whether it is either one of those. And so they don't need to go down this whole cognitive study and all this research, all these things. Hey Tia, great to see you. So here's what we look at. Asperger's is going to actually be a low brainwave pattern in certain brainwaves, where autism is going to be all high, kind of this brain on fire. And that's the big thing that we're looking at, is these brainwave patterns are doing something different. And when we do a brain map, 2013, the FDA approved the brain map as a diagnostic tool. They were looking specifically at ADD, but we can tell all types of different things. So we can tell if you've got anxiety, depression, insomnia, autism, going into Alzheimer's, any of these other things. We can see these on that brain map. But basically, we're looking at the sleep wave, a daydreaming wave, your relaxed meditative wave, and your focus wave. And so in an autistic person, child, whatever it is, their brainwave pattern is all really high. We call it a brain on fire. And so it's just zzz, is so buzz, and it needs all this stimulation. And that's what self-stim takes place, hitting heads, all those things. That's self-stimulation. That brain needs this continual stimulation. And so that brain is on fire, and it's going to get it however it can get it. On the other side, the Asperger's, a lot of people clump Asperger's into just it's a type of autism, but that's not the case. They're totally different. I mean, you can do that for diagnostic purposes, but when we're talking about treating brainwave patterns, totally different different pattern in there. And so what happens is in the Asperger's, the focus wave. ADD kids have a low focus wave. Asperger's have a really, really low focus wave, like lower than an engineer. So if you think about engineers, they're going to look at your toes while they're talking to you and not going to be able to engage as well. And but they're really smart and can hyper focus and look at this widget for 8 hours straight. And so they can hyper focus. But when you put them in a room and a bunch of things going on, the dog's barking, the kids are jumping on them, all those things, they kind of shut down. So Asperger's is that next level past that, and these are the kids and people that we see where I think about it like this. So hold your hands up like this and kind of move your hands around, move your head around. And if you were looking through that, and looking at somebody's face or whatever it is, you're not going to be able to really dial in on what that person is feeling. So if it's a kid and they're looking at mom, they can't tell if mom is hurt or sad, or if this other kid came up to them and then they hug into them, and that kid's like, oh my gosh, you're too close, you're in my personal space. They can't tell those interactions. They can't perceive what somebody else is doing or giving as far as that information goes. So Asperger's is where it gets really, really low. They can hyper focus. They can still get through college. They can still be, make a Tesla car and make rocket ships that go to Mars and all these different things. But engaging with the real world is really, really challenging. Right now, Elon Musk lives in a tiny house with his family, and he probably thinks that's pretty normal thing to do. And so the biggest thing that we do with kiddos and people with Asperger's in the last couple of years, we've had multiple, even in their 20s, that have Asperger's, and got them. One kid, he's going to finish up college. Another one was, two of them actually in their late 20s were still living at home, and now they can help mom and dad, and they cook dinner, and they actually pick up around the house, and they do things, and they ask mom if they need support, things like that, where they're way more engagement. And I don't know where that's going to end up, but they're going to be way more productive in society, even volunteering and working and doing different things than they would have been. And then we've got on the autism side, in when we do neurofeedback, Asperger's, you want to bring up that focus wave, but in the autism side, we need to bring down all those wavelengths. So they're all high. The focus wave, the emotional wave, the daydreaming, the sleep wave, it's just brain on fire, and we need to bring those down, and that will actually start calming that brain down. I had a kiddo, he was about 5 years old. The family, this was before COVID, the family was from Canada, but they lived in the States, and they would go back and forth every 3 months or so, and they would literally have to sit on him in the airplane. He would just be like, just going nonstop. That brain was on fire, just bouncing off the walls. They'd have to literally sit on him. We got him to the point where we had, there's 50 spots that we check for highs or lows in the brainwave patterns. And he had like 50 of them, all 50 were high. We got it down to like 22 by the time we were done with the sessions. And he was at the last time they went up to Canada, before they moved back, he had his iPad. He was able to walk through the metal detector. He sat on the plane, did his iPad, did all those things. We were able to calm that brain down so it was not in this massive hyper state and just go, 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 go. So there are things that can be done in the brain as far as neurofeedback and training those brainwave patterns, but you have to know which pattern it is and whether it truly is an autism or an Asperger's pattern. And then the other side, you have to look at that metabolic piece. And for most of these kids, there is a significant brain blood flow, glucose issue, inflammatory process going on. A lot of times, not to give guilt trips, but a lot of times, you look back at mom, and mom during pregnancy had blood sugar issues. She maybe had Hashimoto's, some kind of autoimmune. She had inflammatory process. Something was going on, and what we're going to find is that even this autism pattern that we're seeing, even in 5-10 years, they'll be saying that this is some type of autoimmune that is going on to the brain as well, and it's this inflammatory condition. So here's what we look at then is we've got to figure out, hey, Leslie, yeah, neurofeedback changed my life. Absolutely. This is what we see all the time. Dr. Josh Axe in the Nashville office, he's done neurofeedback down there and changed his life on his sleep patterns. We've had head coaches at colleges. We've had all the way to kids and everything in between, just significant changes. This is why every office that FA opens around the country will have neurofeedback in it. It's that important. So if you are local, you'll get a map done. If you come into one of our offices, you'll get a map done. Even if you don't live close enough to do neurofeedback, we do have home units as well. Yes, Tia, this will be available to watch later. So it'll be on the Facebook page, but then also this will be saved on the YouTube channel as well. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, you can go back and look at all of these. Had a large bounce concussion that was never treated from a teenager. Absolutely. So TBIs, head injuries, we can pick that up on the brain map, and we can help treat with neurofeedback as well. Great to see you, Tia. Have a great day. So what we look at then is on the metabolic side, you've got to stabilize blood sugar. You've got to get oxygen to the brain. And so that's with work with nitric oxide, which is going to oxygenate that brain. You've got to look at DHA, which is fish oil, but brain part of the fish oil. You've got to look at getting exercise, proper exercise to get that blood flow to the brain. You've got to look at getting all the food allergens out, especially gluten. You've got to get that gluten out of there. Among other food allergens, that's going to be inflammatory. That causes that brain to go on fire as well. So it's a process, and it takes work and it takes time. But these people, these kids, they deserve that best chance at life that they can. And first step is to know autism versus Asperger's, and that's what you can see with the brain map. So if you guys have any questions at all, pop those down below. But just wanted to give some more information on this today, because it's such a confusing topic for so many people, even those that have family members that are dealing with these. So if you need support at all, we're here for you. Make it a great day, guys.